Exercise 1.1, Question 2. Place commas correctly and write the numerals. Now, writing the numerals just means converting all these words here into numbers. And then you have to place commas. Now, when you place commas, it's important to understand which unit of numeration you're in. The rules for placing commas are different. So, in the Indian system of numeration, there's a different rule. And in the international system of numeration, there is a different rule. So I have to understand which system am I in first of all. Now right now let me number this system 1 and number this system 2. And then when I'll read any part, I'll first identify which system I am in. Let me start with part A. So 73 lakh. Alright, the word lakh tells me I am in the Indian system. We don't have any lakhs in the international system. So this is number 1 here. 9 crore 5 lakh. Okay, the word crore itself is enough to tell me I'm again in the Indian system. Number 1. 7 crore. Alright, number 1 again. 58 million. Now this is international system. So this is number 2. And then 23 lakh. Alright, you're in number 1 again. So the Indian system has been used 4 times in these parts. And there's just one part D, dealing with the international system. But before we start thinking about commas, let's write the numerals. Students often get confused about writing the numerals. There's a small tip I have for you. When you're reading any number name, just first keep underlining the moment you see a new unit in it. So for example, in part A, I have 73 lakh, which is the first unit. 73, 73 are just numbers. Then I have 75, 75,000, that's the second unit, underline that. Then you have 307. And now 100 is also another unit, but I'd rather not do that. Because when I'm dealing with hundreds, the number is anyway so small that all of us are anyway comfortable writing them. So I'll only take care of the bigger units, my thousands and lakhs, then crores and so on. Now what you're doing is, after you've identified them, wherever you marked a new unit, just divide your number name like this, immediately after the underlined word. And then separately we'll write them. For this you need to understand how does any number look like in the Indian system of numeration. I'm talking about the Indian system first because A, B, C and E parts are all in the Indian system. So we'll talk about that first and then come to part D. Now in the Indian system, numbers look like this. You have your hundreds, tens and ones in the very end. So you have basically the last 3 digits dedicated to this side. Then you have 2 digits basically for your thousands. So you can say 29,000, 99,000, 25,000 or just 4,000, in which case this here becomes 0. So I'm not saying this side here is 10,000. This is technically the 10,000 place value, but I'm not doing place values here. I'm telling you and helping you how to write down a numeral. Then again you give 2 places for the lakhs. So everything starting from just 1 lakh, which you will write like 01, till everything going up till 99 lakh, you'll fit them right here. Then you go to your crores and you again give it 2 places and so on. You would usually not go beyond this. So I know I have 2 places for every unit and 3 places for the last department, the 100 department. Let me see how to use this now. So I have 73 lakh. So 7 and 3 are automatically going to use up the 2 spaces that I had. I had 2 spaces for lakh, right? Both of them are used. And immediately after lakh, you have 2 spaces for thousands. And what do we read here in the question? 75,000. So both those places will be used up by this 7 and 5. And then the last 3 places for the hundreds world, let's see, that is 307. Well, you know how to write 307. That's just 307. That is the numeral. Now the good news is, once you've figured this out, once you've made these marks here, you don't have to think again about the commas. that is also automatically done. Wherever I've made these marks right here on top, leaving 2 spaces for each of these units except last 3 for this is exactly where you place commas in the Indian system. Read what it says right here. It says the first comma comes after the hundredths place, which is 3 digits from the right. This is 1, 2, 3. This is where you get the first comma. So if I do that in this part here, part A, then the first comma comes here and marks the thousands place. Then commas come after every 2 places. After that, you see how I kept counting 2 places and put this mark? You count 2 here, you have 5 and 7, put a comma. 3 and 7, I would have put a comma, but my number just ended right here. So this is exactly what you had to do for part A. We wrote the numeral and then we put the commas also. Now once we've done that, the rest of the parts are going to be really quick. Just see how. B part, 9 crore 5 lakh 41. This time I see a lot of gap here, definitely. I hope you do too. I know 9 crore, I know I have 2 spaces for my crore world to go from 1 crore to 99. But I just have 9 crore. How do I use 2 spaces for that? Well, I'll have to write this as 09. This is what 9 becomes. Now, you don't really need to start a number with 0. You can just start with your 9. That means you wasted the first space. You don't use the first space. After that, you have 2 spaces for your lakhs, everything from 1 lakh to 99 lakh. Well, what are you using? You're just using 5 lakh. That means instead of using 2 spaces, you're using just 1. How do you write that? Again, you write 05. Next comma will come here with the next mark. Now, after lakh, you're supposed to have 2 places for the thousands. But the number name has nothing here. It has no thousands. That means you have to place zeros in both those spots. You can't leave a spot empty. You can't just miss it. If there is nothing, you put a 0. And then 41. I have 3 digits again. I have something in 100 and then 41. But I don't have any hundreds. I just have a small number. So what do I do? How do I write 41 using 3 digits? I have space for 3 digits. Well, again, as you did in the others, you start with a 0 and then put your 41. Whenever you have extra space, you put the zeros in the beginning. For 5 lakh, you put the 0 first and then the 5. And notice how the commas came automatically. Once you understand this placement, how many digits go in which block, you automatically can keep putting your commas the moment a block ends. We know that the crore block just had a 9. So block ended, comma done. 5 lakh was given space for 2, but it took just 1 space with 05. Block done. Just put a comma after 05. 1000 block had nothing. I just put 2 zeros to fill up the space and then comma. And then the last 3 were put. So now this was faster than part A. Your commas kept coming in automatically. Let's see. And now part C should be even faster. 7 crore. Alright, you have space for 2 digits again. You're using just 1. It's 07, but you don't write 0 in the beginning of a number. So you start with 7 only and you're ready with comma number 1. 52 lakh. You have 2 spots for lakh and you're using both of them. So 5, 2, 52. And then a comma. Then you have next block. You have 21,000. Okay, 21,000. The block for 1,000 had 2 digits only. So 21 make the 2 digits, 2 and 1. Comma again. 302. We had the last 3 digits left and 302 is just 302. We are done. Let's do part E now. 23 lakh, mark number 1. You had 2 places for lakh and you're using both of them with 2 and 3. Put the comma. Then 30,000, mark number 2. 30,000, the word 30 is as a number, it's 3 zeros. You're using both spaces. After that, you have 3 spaces, right? The H, T, and the O. While you have just a 10, which is just 2 digits. So what do you do for the third space? You start with a 0. So it's 0, 1, 0. You're done. And the commas are also done. Time to go to part D now, which is in the international system. Let me clear up some mess here. Let's clear this up and have new information for the international system now. Alright, so in the international system, what you're going to do is, again, start with making your marks. So you have million as the first unit, mark it here. 423,000. Now this time it's a little different. You count this as the first unit. This 100 here is not the final 100 that you take. That 100 will come here in the last part only, because that can only have 3 digits. So what is really happening is, in the international system, you get 3 spots for every block. Now this time there is no confusion. 3 spots, 3 digits for every block. This is the last block, the 100, 10s and 1s block. This is the 1000 block, the whole thing. So you have everything going on from just 1000 to 999,000. Everything will be filled here. Next block is for your millions. So everything from 1 million, which will be just 001, till 999 million will go here. And then you'll have 3 spots for billion and so on. Keep increasing it. Now in our question, what do we have? We have 58 million. I had space for 3 digits here, but I'm using only 2 digits. What do? You start with a 0. So it becomes 058. But in the beginning of a number, why would I write a 0? So I'll just write 58. And that is my first comma. Even now, the moment you have a section ready, you have a comma ready as well. You don't need to think twice. Then you have 423,000. How do you write 423? That is 3 digits, 4, 2, 3. So you used all the 3 digits that you had in your thousands block. And then comes the comma. Then 202, easy number, 202. You are done. Numeral written, commas put. I would again like to stress on the importance of understanding how the two systems of numeration work. Once you understand how these blocks are set, what happens in the Indian system, what in the international system, then putting commas would really be nothing.